This is a part 2 of a previous video, and I recommend you check out that video before watching this one. Also, thank you for your continued support on my videos, as your support shows me that you want this type of content, and I enjoy making the content you guys enjoy. Anyways, on to the video. So the level curve in the Johto games is very messy, and one of the main criticisms of said games. A common criticism of Pokemon Heartgold and SoulSilver is that it didn't really fix this. Another criticism of these games was that the leaders barely had any Johto Pokemon on their team. This video is my attempt at fixing the Kanto Gym Leader teams and the level curve using Pokemon Heartgold and SoulSilver to make our changes. And yes, there will be Sinnoh evolutions of Generation 1 and 2 Pokemon featured in this video, which yes, another change I would make to these games is letting the player have access to these evolutions. Also, only a few of you are actually subscribed, so if you enjoy this video and the content on this channel, why not hit that like and subscribe button and leave a comment down below on your thoughts. Anyways, let's fix the Kanto Gym Leaders from the Johto games using Pokemon Heartgold and SoulSilver to make our changes, starting with... Normally, I would have started with Brock. However, Lieutenant Surge usually tends to be the first Kanto Gym Leader fought in the Johto games, so I decided to start with him first, and thus will have the lowest levels. I decided to replace one of the Electrodes for an Ampharos, since when it comes to the two non-legendary or baby Electro types that were introduced in Generation 2, the one that people will think of 99% of the time is going to be Ampharos, and spoilers for later in the video, but I decided to give Lantern to Misty. I also evolved Magneton and Electabuzz into Magnezone and Electivire. Magnezone is given Magnet Rise to combat its ground weakness, and I've turned Electivire into an all-out attacker. Also, no more double team for any Pokemon. I gave Electro dual screens to increase the overall bulk of the team and self-destruct as an outing while dealing damage to the player. Lightning is very fast, but you wanna know who is several light years away? It's... I decided to toss the Omastar and Kabutops out for a Sudowoodo and an Aerodactyl. Sudowoodo was one of Brock's main Pokemon in the anime, and is famous for being a Bonsly before it was available in the actual games. Sudowoodo also works as it's a rock type that the player has already encountered once throughout their playthrough. Aerodactyl is an offensive powerhouse, with all of its moves that allow it to have great coverage. I also evolved the Graveler and Rhyhorn into Golem and Rhydon respectively. Lastly, I decided to make Onix the ace Pokemon, as Brock and Onix are like a cup of coffee in the sunrise. They are nearly inseparable, from the days of Pokemon Red and Blue to the anime and manga, but you have to admit, Onix is kinda weak, so to compensate, I made Onix a rather high level 66 to make up for some of its lower stats. You know how you can change the switches on a hose to spray a different amount of water? Well, one of the settings you can change it to is... Like I said earlier in the video, the only Pokemon I added to Misty's team was Lantern, as the addition of an electric type that is able to get the most out of its moveset during the rain that the Quagsire can set up with moves like Thunder that never miss in the rain adds a definite challenge. The same goes with Lapras and Starmie having Thunder. I also replaced Ice Beam on Starmie with Psychic so that I can take full advantage of its secondary typing. Lastly, I replaced Golduck Psychic with Amnesia so that could be a more bulky Pokemon. Plants love water. You know who else loves plants? It's... Honestly, Erica's team is probably one of the best gym leader teams this game has to offer, but it's my job to see if I can make it better. I added a Leafeon, as it's one of the few Pokemon with the Sun ability that isn't Chlorophyll, as well as being surprisingly physically bulky. I replaced Victory Bell's Grass Knot and Razor Leaf with Sludge Bomb and Reflect to add some bulk and to let it utilize its Poison Stab. Lastly, I evolved Tangela into a Tangrowth and made its moveset to be a mixed attacker with Synthesis Recovery. Plants really don't like poison, and this gym leader gets a liking of poison and ninjas from her father, and her name is... So I called the Exterminator and dealt with the two spiders that were actively weighing down her team and replaced them with a Tentacruel and a Muck. I replaced Venomoth's Signal Beam with Bug Buzz and replaced Weezing's Double Hit with Destiny Bond to give a little bit of a scare factor towards the player. I made Muck with the idea that it would steal the opponent's item for itself, which is why it has Thief, as well as having some hard-hitting moves. Lastly, and just a side note, how come in the actual games, her Crobat has both Confuse Ray and Supersonic? Like, huh? Anyways, I just copied the move she uses on her rematch Crobat, as this set serves to bring a decent challenge with the surprise Fire-type move. Hey, remember that one gym leader that was defeated because a Haunter made her laugh in the anime? Well, her name was... Her team is mostly fine, but I think having only 3 Pokemon this late into the game for a gym leader is kind of a weird decision. So I decided to add Slowbro and Wobbuffet to her team to have the bulk that this team was missing. I also touched up on the movesets of the Pokemon that were already on her team to make them a bit more threatening and made Mr. Mime more of a baton passer with Psychic and Signal Beam as the only attacking moves so the player doesn't over-rely on a Dark type to sweep her team. I tried to avoid using Pokemon that I had given to Will when I changed his team, and even then Espeon was the only other Pokemon bond that the two share here. Wobbuffet was added as it was a Pokemon that's used on a rematch team and can give the players a scare when challenging it for the first time. You know how volcanoes tend to destroy where people live? Well, this gym leader decided to set up his gym inside a literal cave after Cinnabar was destroyed, and his name was... I have added Ninetales and Houndoom, as these Pokemon are fire types that are quite powerful. I originally intended on using Arcanine on this team instead of Houndoom, but I've saved it to be used on another team. I also decided to evolve the Magmar into a Magmortar. Plus, like Sabrina, he only had 3 Pokemon, and this was also an odd choice. I have replaced Magcargo's Smog with Earth Power and turned Rapidash into a full-out physical attacker. Conversely, Ninetales has a special attacker with Nasty Plot to make it a large threat if not dealt with quickly. For Houndoom, like Ninetales, I also made a special attacker that becomes very deadly if not dealt with really quickly. Lastly, I made Magmortar to be a bigger threat by replacing Thunder Punch with Thunderbolt, as well as adding Brick Break while replacing Sunny Day. You know, one of my favorite Dr. Seuss books when I was a child was One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish. Blue's team is probably the gym leader I have the least problem with, so to reflect that, I haven't changed much and just made moveset changes for the most part. The only Pokemon I changed was his Machamp for a Heracross, and my reasoning was that he used one in his Fire Red and Leaf Green rematch team. I replaced Exeggutor's Trick Room with Synthesis, as most of his Pokemon are speedy and are actively put at a disadvantage with Trick Room. I changed Arcanine's Roar with Thunderfang, as well as Dragon Pulse with Outrage, and replaced Gyarados' Return with Earthquake. I evolved his Rhydon into a Rhyperior. Rhyperior's moveset is meant to hit like a truck, but due to its slow speed, you're almost always guaranteed a free hit before it hits back. Lastly, I made Pidgeot have more coverage and recovery with Roost. Flying, Steel, and Fire work together very well, allowing it to hit a lot of Pokemon with neutral or super effective damage. Now, we have the strongest for last, the trainer atop Mount Silver, and a part of the reason why I wanted to make these 2 videos. Red's team is way too iconic for me to even attempt to fix, and the levels align perfectly with the level fixes that I did. The only changes I could justify are moveset changes to make this legendary battle even more challenging. Pikachu and Blastoise's moves remain unchanged. Venusaur has Earthquake instead of Sleep Powder. Charizard has Ancient Power instead of Flare Blitz. Lapras is Confuse Ray instead of Body Slam, and Snorlax is the only Pokemon with more than 1 move change. Instead of Shadow Ball and Blizzard, I gave it Rock Slide and Brick Break. The idea of Red using Pokemon that are only available as you play through the main story was probably one of the most genius ideas ever, and I personally think that is why this battle is so legendary. Besides the, you know, fighting your own character that you played in a previous game. Let me tell you all something. Red was one of the main reasons why I wanted to make these 2 videos, as the level curve between Blue and Red is very large, with a 20 level gap, and the fact that most players will only have mid-50s highest after beating all the Kanto Gym Leaders, and the idea of being able to struggle through all these higher level Gym Leaders was more rewarding once you finally get to fight Red. Also, the level curve in these games were very odd in general, and I wanted to change it so that they're more in line with the rest of the main series games. Another reason was that all these cool, amazing Johto Pokemon that they added went mostly unused against the gym leader battles, and I think that's pretty disappointing. If you have any thoughts on my changes, whether you agree or disagree with these changes, let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, why not hit that like button, and if you enjoy the content on this channel, why not hit that subscribe button and maybe even hit that notification bell so you don't miss an upload from me. Are there any gym leaders from other regions that I should attempt to fix? If so, also let me know down in the comment section below, and if you haven't seen part 1 of this video, I highly recommend checking out that video as well. Anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day.